Now, stay tuned for Super Trax, America's ultimate mud and monster truck challenge.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kris Chapman at the Saint Paul Civic Center in Minnesota. Just around the corner, a thirsty monster called First Blood attempts to drag down barefoot last year's American champion.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tallahassee Civic Center in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm Bret, Kepner, and along with almost 24 of the nation's fastest super modified mud racers, we are getting ready for what could be the ultimate showdown in indoor off-road racing. The big rivalry between Jeff Acker's Insanity supercharged Chevrolet powered roadster and the three-time and defending world champ Tom Martin in the Super Trooper 32 Chevy could be coming to a head right here in Tallahassee. Welcome to Super Trax.
The United States Hot Rod Association presents the ultimate from the wide world of motorsports, Super Trax.
Here at the Saint Paul Civic Center in Minnesota, we are just about ready to begin a rather unusual monster truck program. A field of nearly a dozen of the nation's top monster trucks are ready to start qualifying side by side in a field that will include a double elimination first round. In the near lane, Doug Spanier, one of Minnesota's own, leaves the starting line to set the pace here in the qualifying round. The elapsed time for Spanier's master of disaster Chevrolet, 3.26 seconds on this short straight course. But here's the reigning USHRA Association world champ, Tom Lasers barefoot. The mark to beat of 3:26 Blazier in Fred Schaefer's team machine runs 3.37 seconds. Next up, Jim Thomas and Larry Tura. Tura in the Hercules machine in the far lane. Meanwhile, the barely tame Ford of Thomas leaves the starting line. The mark to beat 3:26. Thomas runs 3.24 seconds. And on a short straightaway course like this, reaction times are going to be just as important as the lapse time. The Pennsylvania-based camper shell equipped machine of Tura called Hercules leaves the line. And Tura takes it through at 4.15 seconds. Remember, we've got almost a dozen trucks in competition, and you're going to have to lose 2 times before you're completely out of this contest. So with the first 4 machines completing their qualifying run, Jim Thomas leads qualifying in barely tame at 3.24 seconds. It's time for this week's Crunch of the Week. In Augusta, Georgia, John Moore's No Problem and Gary Wiggins' Mopar Magic battled it out for an event title. No Problem took the win, but a rough landing and a flat tire put him into the guardrail, doing serious front-end damage. But it didn't matter at that point because the big white and yellow Ford had pulled out this incredibly close victory. That's this week's Crunch of the Week. Super Trax will be right back with more extreme motorsports action. Don't go away. One of the most unusual monster truck competitions ever devised by the USHRA Association. A double elimination first round. But right now we're still qualifying one of the largest field of indoor monsters we've ever seen. Mike Beeler and the Wrecker, a newcomer to the USHRA Association Tour, leaves the line on this short 150-foot monster truck course. Beeler records an elapsed time of 5.20 seconds. Now the Twister entry, Dave Stasic, a longtime North Country campaigner. Great run for the Twister. He's on a pass. 5.13 seconds after a slow launch, but a great top end. That man's going to be tough in elimination. Now Ohio's Gary Bauer in the Lone Ranger Ford Bronco, one of the original mini monster trucks, leaves the starting line hard. Oh, nosedive for Bauer. He barely drives it out. That one should have been a disaster. Great driving for the Ohio campaigner. Bauer saves himself and his truck. The elapsed time, 3.29 seconds. But now, the 1989 Rookie of the Year, Rob Fuchs in the First Blood Ford. A great run. Fuchs comes down hard on the brakes. He stops it before the wall. The mark to beat was 3:24. Fuchs runs 3 seconds flat for the #1 spot. That'll bring up Kid Rarig and the Thunder Chicken, of all things. The Chevrolet leaves the line. Rarig loses the tarpaulin on the back of the deck, but keeps it straight. The elapsed time, 3:21. That'll be good for the #2 qualifying spot for the relative unknown.
Rob, how are those brakes feeling?
I'm glad they worked. We got a little on the front end there, and I hit the throttle just a little too hard trying to pull it out, and got going a little fast.
Did you realize that was qualifying?
Yeah.
Do you always come out and put on that strong of a performance?
I'll see if I can go faster before the night goes on here.
So what you're saying is maybe we need to go on and barricade that one corner?
No, I think I'll try to stay away from the walls and equipment now.
Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Rob Bush, always a great interview, as Kris Chapman has found out. She'll be down on the floor throughout the event. But qualifying shows us that the First Blood Ford may be the killer here in Minnesota. And we've got a showdown of champions in Tallahassee, Florida in the super modified mud racing ranks. Stay with us.